Hey, everybody, welcome to the Exit is Now podcast with me, your host, Scott Snider, on a special edition Exit Planning Summit podcast. I have a couple of special guests today, and I want to dive into some new elements that we're having at the Exit Planning Summit coming up here in Nashville. So, we have a great summit in front of us. This year's summit is, I was thinking about this, is it's not just like an evolution of the summit, it's really revolutionary. I really appreciate all of our certified exit planning advisors and guests and attendees at the Exit Planning Summit because through your feedback over the last couple of years, we've been able to design a summit that I think is really right for you. I always think about in the Exit Planning Summit that there's tons of conferences as professional advisors that we have to go to each year. And I want to make it a place that really drives a return on investment, and I think really has an impact, and it has an actionable impact on you as the professional advisor, and here at the Exit Planning Summit. I think that we can do that. When I challenged our team internally at EPI, me and my wife Joy really love going to the U.S. Virgin Islands. And when we go down to the U.S. Virgin Islands, we go to this island called St. Croix. In St. Croix, at this place called the Buccaneer, it's a long lasting family business there, so it has another special place in my heart. But nonetheless, when we go there, and the first time I went there, there was a piece of driftwood with something etched in it right behind the check-in guest counter, and it said something to the tune of this. It said that I want you to have such a great stay here as one of our guests that you leave inspired, that you come back and bring somebody new with you, and that you become an ambassador of our island of St. Croix. And think about that, not of the resort that is the Buccaneer, but of the whole island of St. Croix. And my challenge to my team and what I would love to bring to all of you as our guests at the Exit Planning Summit is a place that is inspiring, that when you come, you leave wanting to bring somebody back and bring somebody or come back and bring somebody with you, and that you become an ambassador for the exit planning profession. And so our focus this year leans a little bit into personal planning. It's what we consider to be the most overlooked leg of the stool. It's in fact one of my sessions. We have 3 keynote sessions a part of the summit. We have an opening keynote, we have a opening on the second day, and then a closing on the second day. And so my panel discussion will bring together some certified exit planning advisors that are technicians inside of the personal planning space that focus on that personal planning leg of the stool. So we'll have some deep dive case studies, if you will, that allow us to understand the world of personal planning, how we can learn more about what personal planning is, so that if we're not in that world, we can better recommend to the business owner what to do and talk to the business owner on what to do. Then we're going to have Tommy Breedlove. Tommy Breedlove wrote a book called Legendary. We'll talk to him momentarily here on the show, but he'll dive through his journey on personal planning, how to find purpose, how to create action, how to define a life plan, how to look at 10-year visions, so on and so on and so forth. So he will close our summit. Again, I'll host that second main stage session of the summit on Tuesday morning, where with fellow SEPAs we'll dive deep into the world of personal planning, give you some models that I think that you can follow along with. But I think the most exciting thing about our Exit Planning Summit this year is a 3-hour segment of the summit called Summit Exploration Time. Something unique that we're doing this year that I don't feel you get at any other conference, designed by the EPI team to really start to meet the needs of our certified exit planning advisors and guests at the summit, where sitting in sessions all day might not be the best. It might not be your way to learn, and you want to have an opportunity to meet and mingle with SEPAs while learning in different unique ways. So I want you to take a deep breath and think. If you know me well, I'm a visionary. So I want you to think along with me of a festival-style experience with multiple stages, with different things going and popping up at different times. Some of it's overlapping with each other. Some of it's not. But you have multiple stages that you can visit to go see your favorite artist. I want you to take that concept, if you've been to a festival before, and apply it to the professional education that we have at the Exit Planning Summit. Again, this will be during your summit exploration time, where through this festival style of experience, you can bop around to different stages and experience different activities. So we will have the largest exhibit hall ever at the Exit Planning Summit, with innovative partners and different solutions and folks that you can work with to both have more impact with business owners and grow your business. So you can meet and mingle with all of these different tools, partners, services, and products that allow you to do that. That's one stage, if you will. The next stage is a growth and impact stage. These are where our power sessions are going. So if you remember our power sessions of the past, they really opened up our day on Tuesday, the second day of the conference, but now they are going to be a part of our summit exploration time. So you can bop over to those and you can see TED Talk style sessions through our growth and impact stage. And then across from that, you're going to have a live podcasting stage. So we'll have somebody join me here at our podcast studio on stage at the Exit Planning Summit. We'll all be doing live interviews with award-winning CEPAs, the Exit Planner of the Year, business owners, faculty members, sponsors and partners, everybody that kind of impacts, if you will, the exit planning community. So you'll be able to hear live conversations, another way of learning, if you will. But a lot of us come to the summit to what we call have hallway conversations. We hear this all the time. We see your notes inside of the survey that you leave. You said some of the best things happen in the hallways of the Exit Planning Summit. So what we're introducing this year as well during the summit exploration time is an event called Meals and Meetups. We want to be able to meet and mingle with different CEPAs in a casual way, whether I'm a first-time CEPA looking to understand what other first-time CEPAs are doing, whether I want to be able to almost matchmake, say I'm a financial advisor and I want to meet an M&A advisor or a value growth consultant that I can bring into an engagement. You can find them and have casual and meaningful conversations at our Meals and Meetups. 3 more stages and 3 more activities for you guys to do. We are also going to have the drivevalue.com business owner activation, where I'll be interviewing business owners about their journey through the value acceleration methodology and the eventual transition or exit of their company. We'll also have the drivevalue.com car there. Our number 42 Legacy Motor Club car that we debuted last year will be with us again at the Exit Planning Summit, so you can learn more about how we're leveraging drivevalue.com to tell the value acceleration story and to promote the Certified Exit Planning Advisor credential. We'll have our author showcase a part of this time where EPI takes 15 authors that you can meet and mingle with, grab a book, kind of get your library of reading set up for the year. You will have that going on. And last but not least, you got to have a fun zone. I think it's a unique way to build relationships at the Exit Planning Summit. For me, a lot of the best conversations and the best people that I meet don't necessarily happen in a very formal setting. They happen in an informal setting where I can not just learn about who they are as a business person or leader or advisor, but I get to know them on a deeper personal level. And so we're going to have a fun zone that allows us to embrace more deep and unique conversations that perhaps go outside of just the business world, but go into the personal world as well, so that you can have those deeper relationships. And so I'm really looking forward to our Exit Is Now podcast show today. And I really look forward to having to see you guys later on this month in Nashville, Tennessee. And I'd like to invite our first guest to our show, our opening keynote for the Exit Planning Summit. You've seen him around the EPI community over the last several years, but he's never taken the main stage as our keynote speaker. He's become a dear friend of mine as well. I'd like to invite to our show our keynote speaker, Ben Utecht. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Exit Is Now podcast. I'm hanging out with my friend, Ben Utecht, who is our keynote speaker at the Exit Planning Summit this year. Ben, you've been heavily involved in the EPI community for the last couple of years now. I think we first got introduced by Julie Keys.
Yes.
And then from there, you did a power session talk, which is kind of like a TED talk at our summit a couple of years ago. And then last year, you worked through our chapter network, and we did a bunch of Drive Value regional summits as well. And this year, We've invited you to come onto the main stage to kick off our entire summit.
Let's go.
I know, right? It's going to be we're super
I'm
excited.
gonna bring all my football pads. We're gonna do something special.
You're going to hit me? Is that what
I
we're
mean,
going to
I'd
do?
like to.
Okay. Can I wear pads though too? And I'll just go flying across. I go flying across the stage. But no, your keynote is really going to be based around your work in organizational culture, and that work is captured in your book, which is the Champion's Creed. And everybody, we worked a lot inside of this book actually throughout last year, and we've done a lot of work inside of this as well, both as an organization, as a company that is Exit Planning Institute. And one I think the coolest things that you've been willing to do with us is help our SEPA community build out a SEPA Creed. And what I really love about your teachings and as it relates to our summit audience is it's really twofold. One is that people that are coming to the summit can take the knowledge and kind of bestow it onto their business owners, because the stuff that you write about in your book and that you teach is really all around human and social capital, right?
Yes,
it's
100%.
80% of a company's value is locked inside of these 4 C's, and you really capture all of them. So I think it allows SEPAs to better understand how value is determined inside of those 2 of those 4 C's, human and social capital, so that they can bring that to their owners. But what they can also do is really the second piece, is that they can also take this into their own firms. And,
absolutely.
And many of our advisors run large departments at financial institutions, law firms, M&A firms, or they run their own companies. And they're what I would call an entrepreneurial advisor, a business owner in their own, and certainly in their own right. And again, I think the most unique thing that we'll do as we walk through your keynote on the main stage on that Monday morning is we're going to leave the audience with the SEPA Creed.
Yes,
and so for the first time in 21 years at EPI, we will have documented not just the EPI culture as a business, as an organization, but we will have documented and distributed the culture as a SEPA. And I like to think it kind of continues the movement, right? It unites 11,000 certified exit planning advisors across the United States. So a lot to unpack,
and
for sure.
Yeah, and 2 words that you said are so important to highlight. The creed and then a movement. And I think it's important, like, when we talk about a creed, the definition of a creed is a set of beliefs that guide the behaviors and actions of people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So foundational to the human condition at work. And so the whole point of creating the SEPA Creed is to really spend time with thought leaders in that industry and learn what are the non-negotiable core beliefs and value principles, the artifacts of those beliefs that truly reflect what the culture of the SEPA community is all about. So we need to capture that. We need to define that deeply. And that's how you inspire people towards a movement, right? Because culture doesn't scale well if it's just a program that comes out of power and control, right? It scales well when it's inspired, right? Exactly. So the definition of a movement is a singular or community belief turned into action. So we have to start first on the foundation of belief, focused on value principles, and then how are we developing people towards that? Ultimately, that's what is going to build a culture by design, which is the key, right? Because you're always going to have one by design or default. Every organization in the world has a culture, because culture comes out of the beliefs and behaviors of its people.
Right.
So if you're going to have one, why would you not design it?
Exactly right. And I think about how critical that is for our SEPA community as it scales, right? Our ultimate goal here over the next 3 years is to become the 2nd largest professional credential in the market. And as I started to, get to know you over the last couple of years, and then learned in your book too, right, that there's cultures can also be subcultures of the ultimate organization. Mm-hmm. I said, man, I think we need to get Ben on the main stage of the summit so that he can unpack what's in his book, and that we can collectively then deliver what is the SEPA Creed. And you challenged me. It was cool. You challenged me to kind of take a back seat and let the creed be created by the folks that are inside the community. So for our SEPAs and our partners and advisors that are listening to the show, we actually have our Thought Leadership Council, these 6 SEPAs that represent the 11,000 that are kind of stewards of the methodology
Mm-hmm.
and advisors to us internally at EPI that are all active SEPAs inside of right inside of the field with everybody, help us build this culture creed. So I think it's really meaningful.
Well, it's what the question is, what do you believe about ownership, right? And honestly, you need to give the ownership to the actual certified exit planner, right?
So take a step back. Everybody will receive your book inside of their kind of welcome bag at the summit. You'll have a chance to hang out with Ben at the author showcase. And again, what I love about really both of our keynote speakers this year, you or Tommy, who's closing our summit, is that you guys want to hang out and you want to be a part of the community, right? So many times when we go to conferences and our audience obviously goes to plenty of conferences, you see a keynote kind of, fly in the night before, not hang out with anybody, hit the stage, and then basically fly out.
Right.
Where you and Tommy want to immerse yourself inside of the community and be a part of it. And so when everybody receives your book, I always think it's interesting to talk to authors to talk about the passion behind it. So kind of talk about that, because you had a book before that was totally outside of this. It was like, how do you describe your original
book? Was about my concussion story, actually.
Right.
Which ended my career in the concussion crisis, was becoming a spotlight of the NFL at the time. And so, I was one of the first players to really step out in advocacy for player health and safety, especially focused on their brain. And so that was a great opportunity to really kind of tell that story and emotionally connect people to the importance of their mind and their memories. Whereas the Champions Creed is really my introduction into the corporate culture space, right?
Yep.
It's one of the, if not the most talked about theme in business. And I was so blessed to be a part of a Super Bowl championship team that was coached by Hall of Famer Tony Dungy. And he's got it. We've talked so much about this, but he's really the kind of the mastermind behind everything that I do today, right? And he was the first to win a Super Bowl built on what's called servant leadership.
Exactly.
The belief that if you build better men, you get better football players.
Right.
Look, our job here in Indianapolis is to win. We've got to win games, but equally as important to that is, we have to build the human condition at work, right? So if we're going to claim, these value principles, I, as a coach, not only do I have to improve your fundamentals and skills on the football field, but I also have to improve you and develop you as a man towards the core beliefs and values that are going to have a positive impact on your life.
So what were some, and I think everybody that writes this book too has their story within it, right? And yours is very clear. You'll hear it at the summit as well. I think I was telling Ben while we were in the office at EPI HQ today, working with our summit planning committee, that I think one of Ben's keynote is actually one of the best I've ever heard.
Oh wow!
And it takes you on this journey like up a mountain. That's how I was describing it to you, right? You're like walking with you and you're excited, and then you hit that first peak and you're like, wow, that was an incredible story. And then you hit the next peak.
Yeah.
And really what you'll learn through the keynote is Ben has kind of always been exposed to these culture creeds. Like, it started with your dad.
Yep.
And then you had one with Tony.
Yep.
And so can you talk about those experiences?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that, the foundation of my passion for culture, it started out of my own personal family, right? And to be raised by a father and a mother that were so focused on empowering me to find my identity.
Right.
That's a big deal, right? Like,
Yeah.
I had parents that helped me understand that I was so much more than just an athlete. And to help me go on this journey of identifying, well, what is that identity and purpose? Why is that purpose so important? And how can I live out that purpose to the benefit of my life and to the relationships that come into my life? And that's really where it started. And you're right, in that keynote, there's a pretty powerful story that I'll share with my dad. And then Tony Dungy was just another example of a leader in a different position that had the same impact. And ultimately, that's really what's, I think, defined his legacy.
Yeah.
Is not, yes, he won a world championship, right? That's the epitome of being a coach in the NFL. But man, the legacy is that he transform the lives of every single player that came in contact with his coaching style. Okay.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you look at the last 15 years of my life after leaving the NFL, it has been devoted to the, the scaling of that message to impact people, right? So his
Yeah.
impact on me is now impacting others through me, right?
Exactly
That's
right.
legacy. And
When did
that's
you know you
powerful.
wanted to go do this work? So you retire from the NFL and you
Yeah.
go, what am I going to do with the next phases
Well,
of my
my
life?
my degree was in communication and public speaking, and
Hmm.
my dad was a pastor, so I grew up watching a
Yeah.
man use words to positively impact people. I thought it was so powerful, and I was drawn towards that. I knew I wanted to tell a story. I just didn't know what the story was until Tony Dungy, and being a part of a team that had a culture by design, and a culture that was practicable, and that changed everything. And so when I retired and knew my story, I had a chance to begin sharing that with companies, and that's really what kind of brought me into this world of organizational culture that I've given the last 13,
I
15
was gonna
years of
say,
my life to.
yeah. And yeah, I think one of the other cool things that you're building is a whole kind of software tool
Oh man,
that
so
measures
excited!
this. And so
Yeah,
let's talk about it kind of at a high level, and then we'll get introduced to it a little bit more at the summit. And is that from
yeah.
my perspective in representing our SEPAs, I think we have plenty of tools that can measure structural capital, right? We're going to go back to our listeners, and if you're a certified exit planning or advisor, somebody that has read Walking to Destiny, one of the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 concepts is these 4 intangible capitals that equate to 80% of a company's value. Structural capital is all of your IP, your process, your how-to, your standard operating procedures. I always say it's the stuff that really makes you run lean and strong, right?
Hmm.
And I think we get that. We have tools and we have how-to around measuring that and documenting that and all of those types of things. And then you have customer capital, and I think for the most part we get that, right? We're looking at how long your customers have been here. Is it profitable revenue? Do they have transferable contracts? Do they have contracts at all? And is the relationship with the owner themselves, or is it really with the organization? And then I think we get to culture, and we're like, well, how do we really like document it, measure it, scale it? And then how do the people, the human capital, overlay with the social capital? And I think you're bringing that to market. I'm really excited for you.
I'm really excited too, and because culture touches everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So our idea for this Omni culture software platform, Omni being omniscient, right? It's all knowing, it's everywhere, it touches everything,
Mm-hmm.
and it really focuses. It's so interesting. I didn't put this two together, but it correlates directly with the 4 C's because it's the 4 Ds.
It
So
does,
it
yeah.
literally comes right
Yeah.
out. It's like
Yeah.
right after the 4
Yep.
C's, we step into the 4 Ds, which is the radical importance of being able to define your culture,
Okay.
the importance of being able to make good hiring decisions towards culture alignment,
Yep.
the foundational importance of being able to develop your people towards the core beliefs and values of the organization, because everybody that comes to work for you every day is a storyteller of your culture.
Right.
And so what story are they going to tell? And
Right.
we want to make sure that they tell a great story. And lastly, how do you direct culture? How do you direct leadership on how to make culture adjustments that come out of the feedback from their team members on
Yeah.
what they believe about the culture? And those 4 platforms, when you bring them together, give you the profound opportunity to, not only qualify but quantify, your culture with data and with development tools that make it highly impactful for your internal team and the people that you work with.
And if you just think about those 4 Ds that you described, that's why I think our community of SEPAs need a creed.
I
If you think
totally
about
well,
that,
and
right?
the foundation of the creed. Remember, the creed is a culture, onboarding and educational training manual.
Exactly.
That's what this becomes. So the typical checked box of mission, vision, values that's put onto a website, and it becomes the representation of your culture, now turns into a culture training manual.
Mhm.
Anywhere from I've done culture creeds that are 12 pages all the way up to 32 pages, right? It becomes 100 times the depth in clarity and defining the culture that people will experience in the workplace.
So let's dive into the creed itself. So what makes up, like, what are some core elements of the culture creed?
Well, the culture creed is comes really out of the academia of organizational psychology, which says that every culture in the world comes out of the espoused beliefs, assumptions, and artifacts of the community.
Mhm.
The artifacts are the representations of or the symbols of the non-negotiable beliefs.
Yeah.
So, what
Mm.
value principles really are for companies are the artifacts of what their core beliefs are, but we always miss out on capturing and systematizing those core beliefs. So the creed takes the core values of an organization that reflects their culture, and it extracts what the foundational beliefs are that drive those values.
Mm.
And then we build out a practicable system, right, of education and application that comes out of those core leadership beliefs. And that then gives you a foundation of defining your culture that you've never had before.
And then you can measure it. So talk about how it's measured. What are some of the like KPIs that you're looking at? Like, for example, today when we were at EPI, we were talking about employee retention. And I think you could think about it as community retention when it comes to the SEPAs. Like, we don't want people leaving.
Yeah.
We want to attract the right people, and we want to be able to maintain those people and have them grow as a whole community.
Yeah, there's two measurement tools. One is on the Decide platform where we have what we believe is the only one of its kind that's a belief and behavioral um, uh, checklist assessment. So in other words, we can through an assessment process identify the core beliefs and behaviors of the individual or of the team member or the applicant, right?
Hmm.
And we can directly cross-reference that with the core values of the company. So right away now we're having a better opportunity to understand the beliefs and behaviors of the team member, and also where is their alignment towards the
Yeah.
core beliefs and values of the company. And then the last platform, Direct, is this wonderful feedback tool
Mm.
that focuses on 20 of the most important culture themes that come out of Harvard Business, McKinsey, Deloitte. And this is the opportunity for the employees to have a voice that speaks to leadership about what they believe about the culture. So they
Mm.
get to rate, um, what they believe about these different themes. That gives us actual data. And when we take that snapshot, when we get that culture glimpse on a quarterly basis,
Yeah.
right, we're going to be able to see, based upon how leadership responds to that, are they making improvements
Mm.
in each of those themes? And that gives us the elusive culture KPI over time,
Mm.
right? And the whole goal, especially when it comes to exit planning, is when you apply a culture by design system, you're going to enhance your retention. You're going to improve on your employee engagement, which is going to have a direct effect on performance. Now you've created a system that can scale within the organization. And in other words, you have increased the financial value of the sellability of that company because you have a culture designed system.
Yeah, again, it's not just a default. It's not just poof and it's there. It's actually designed very intentionally and very deliberately. And what I'm also hearing is that it's evolved, right? So for our audience that's coming to the summit, our SEPA community, it might be directed by our Thought Leadership Council, but we're also revisiting it on a regular basis because, again, it's about feedback.
Yeah, 100%. Because you know, remember, I always say this is one of my disruptors, is that you'll remember the famous quote by Peter Drucker: "Culture eats strategy for breakfast." And I'm
Yeah,
always asking people,
yeah,
true or false? And
yeah.
everybody's like, true.
True, of
And I'm like,
course.
false.
Yeah, yeah, it
And
is. You do this. Yeah, it's an
yeah, and
aha
the
moment, right?
reason why, and you always get people that get the wide eyes, and the reason I say that is because at least in the quote, he separates culture from strategy, and I believe culture has to be the strategy,
Mm,
right? Every company that has become successful, it comes out of the creation of their business plan, their business strategy that guides the entire ship of the organization. And we need to take the same approach to culture, right?
yeah.
Culture has to be the strategy. And when you develop that strategy, you're able to then create the system that that keeps that ship in the right direction.
Yeah, I think it's important for us at EPI because if you have 11,000 SEPAs and growing out there with this kind of definition and direction, we're going to show up the same way each time. So whether I'm in Italy or in Cleveland, Ohio, or in Minneapolis or out in California or down in Florida, wherever I might be, we are all very aligned and showing up and talk, not just talking the language, but believing in the same shared. We have a shared belief in I think you call it in your book, right? That North Star moment where we're all chugging in the same direction. And so I think that's going to be big for the SEPA community, no doubt.
I completely agree that unity and that alignment, you know, creates security, and that's something that you want to have. You want to be building a company on a culture of rock, not on a culture of sand. And the only
Mm,
difference between the two is practice. You know,
exactly.
if you're practicing and developing people towards belief and value alignment, you're building a company, you're building a house on bedrock, on something that will hold up the house, whether the rain falls or the winds blow,
Yeah.
right? But if you're not putting enough time and energy into your culture strategy and into a practicable system, then you're really building that on sand, and
Mm.
that foundation cannot withstand um, ultimately the growth of the organization.
So break down your keynote a little bit for me. You talked about it in like 3 to 4 sections, kind of take the audience on a journey on what to expect.
Well, I'm an inspirationalist at heart, right? So
Yeah.
so we're going to. I just believe that there's so much power in storytelling, and so I'm going to take them on a journey that has emotional storytelling to inspire. But whenever you inspire, you have to support that with teaching and with coaching. And so,
Mm,
the years that I've put in to organizational culture and being a chief culture officer and working with companies and being a small business owner myself,
exactly.
I think really gives me the authority to step in and actually show how this applies, to life and to business. So
Exactly.
we're gonna go on a journey that will inspire people towards seeing culture through a unique and powerful lens. But then how did that apply in the NFL to win a Super Bowl? And
Mm.
how do we take that and apply it to our businesses today? And then end with the
Yeah, the
reveal
real of
of
this.
the SEPA culture creed,
Mm.
which I think is going to be really powerful.
I think so too. I really appreciate you coming to hang out at the summit. So we're at the end. We're at the Monday morning. We've kicked off. We're hitting that 9 o'clock hour where we're wrapping up and taking a break and moving into our breakouts. If you had 2 or 3 things that you're really trying to have the audience take away, what do you think those are?
Well, first and foremost, we already said it, but you're always going to have a culture by design or default.
Mm,
So why not design it? So
correct.
I really want people to see culture through an objective lens.
Mm,
Secondly, I want them because look, we're this is an industry where you're caring for the business of people who have worked really hard to get to this opportunity to sell this,
yeah.
right? So I want people to be able to understand that culture is a product,
Mm, yep.
right? It's not just this ethereal idea that we talk about, but when
Mm,
you design it, it actually becomes a product
mm,
that
yep.
enhances the value of an organization,
Hmm.
right? And then lastly, the most important part of culture is that culture, when it's built by design and practiced, has the ability to transform lives.
Mm,
Right. So you have the opportunity to enhance the value, significance, and purpose of every single team member that works for you and every single client that you work with.
mm,
Right. That's where your culture becomes a legacy.
mm,
Right. It's not just improving your team internally, but now it's improving your clients, your vendors, and ultimately the community. And
mm.
you create a reputation because of the way in which you practice what you believe.
Exactly right. Well, Ben, man, I'm excited for it,
Let's
and
go.
I couldn't think of a better person this year to kick off our summit. Right? I
No
think
pun intended.
yeah, right. Yeah, I was saying in our State of the Institute address at the beginning of this year that I think EPI is in like a revolutionary year, not just like an evolution. Right?
Yeah.
Like we have a lot of new things coming to the EPI community. Our organization, our company that is EPI, is in like a new 5-year run with a fresh 5-year strategy. And so really happy and honored that you're a part of it. I really
Well, thank
like
you for
having
including me, man.
Yeah, having
I
you
love
here.
it.
Again, everybody's going to get a copy of Ben's book, so you could see Ben certainly on Monday morning. Ben is also a part of our Summit VIP registration as well. So if you want some extra time with Ben, the Summit VIP access is certainly for you. He'll be hanging out in those forums and groups. And he'll be at our author showcase, a part of our Summit exploration time. So if you're looking for an autograph on the book, a deeper conversation, or a picture with his Super Bowl ring,
Let's
which
go.
is always kind of cool.
I'll have it. I'll bring it.
I will always grateful for we were hanging out, Ben and I, and he let my son wear it, and it's like
That
his
was pretty cool.
It's like his cool recess story now, right? Like
Right.
he's like, dude, I have a picture with a Super Bowl ring. But that's the kind of guy Ben is. I always say, like, Ben always makes us better. So I appreciate it, man.
You're welcome.
And we'll see you in April. At the
Sounds
summit.
good. Looking forward.
Thanks.
Hey there, business owners. Are you ready for a game-changing opportunity? Introducing the 2023 National State of Owner Readiness Report. Over the past decade, this groundbreaking research has reshaped how we view business ownership and exit planning. This report isn't just another study, it's a deep dive into the evolution of business ownership. It shines a spotlight on the crucial intersection of business attractiveness and owner readiness, revealing the undeniable impact of preparation on achieving successful transitions. With younger generations taking the reins, exit planning is taking on a whole new perspective. Education and awareness about preparing for the future have never been more crucial, and with financial readiness leading the charge, there's a clear opportunity for growth and learning. But here's the kicker. The report shows a surge in exit planning education and understanding, yet many still lack formal transition teams, highlighting the essential role of comprehensive support. So who's got your back? Trusted advisors have evolved from CPAs to financial advisors, making a decade of significant change in support networks. Ready to take the next step towards a successful exit? Dive into the Exit Planning Institute's 2023 National State of Owner Readiness Report and start shaping your legacy today. The future is knocking. Are you ready to answer? Discover your readiness level at 2023ownerreadiness.com and take the first step towards a successful and significant exit.
Are you a business owner seeking to unlock the true potential of your enterprise? Look no further than the second edition of Christopher Snider's revolutionary book, Walking to Destiny: 11 Actions an Owner Must Take to Rapidly Grow Value and Unlock Wealth. In this updated edition, Snider presents proven strategies for maximizing your company's value and accelerating growth. Whether you're aiming to sell or simply want to ensure long-term success, this book offers a blueprint for building a thriving, self-sustaining business. Walking to Destiny isn't just another book, it's a game changer, backed by Snider's own experience as a successful business owner and as a CPA. This book bridges the gap between business owners and advisors, guiding you towards financial freedom. But don't just take our word for it. Hear from those whose lives have been transformed by its insights. One satisfied reader raves, "The best guide for transitioning out of privately owned companies. I recommend it to all business owners and advisors." Another praises it on its focus for maximizing business value, calling it their, quote, principal tool for educating owners. Ready to take control of your business's destiny? Visit walkingtodestiny.com now and use code EXITISNOW to claim your free copy of Walking to Destiny: 11 Actions an Owner Must Take to Rapidly Grow Value and Unlock Wealth. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Make the moment perfect by seizing this opportunity today.
All right, everybody, and welcome back to the Exit is Now podcast. I'm with one of our other keynotes at the Exit Planning Summit this year, our closing keynote, Tommy Breedlove. Tommy, welcome to the show. I appreciate you coming in.
Fired up to be here.
Yeah, I like your energy, and for our audience that follows, and for those of you coming to the summit, Tommy will definitely bring the energy. So I'm super excited to have you here. You're relatively new, I think, to our EPI community, but you have a topic and an expertise that I think runs very deep inside of our community and within our own value acceleration methodology. We call it the most overlooked leg of the stool, which tends to be personal planning. I think many business owners understand and get the business planning side. They get the personal planning, or they get the financial planning side, but they struggle with the personal planning. And what I love about what you bring to the summit and for our CEPAs is living a more legendary life. And so a lot cooler of a name perhaps than just personal planning. You outline it in your book called Legendary as well, and it'll be the really the basis of and the foundation of your keynote is living a more legendary life. And so I'd like to start our conversation there. And what I also think is relevant for our audience, who's followers of the work that we do at EPI and our CEPA community, is we have something called helping business owners go from successful companies to significant companies. And you've mentioned in your book, Legendary, also living a more significant life. So let's start with the foundation. What does a legendary life look like?
Yeah, first of all, the reason we chose the word legendary is aspirational.
It is. It is, yeah.
And what I also love about legendary, and I'll get specific here, is we can't, Scott, if you said, Scott's legendary, and I said, Tommy's legendary, they'd laugh us out of the room, right? It's given to you. And that's what I really like. And it's about impact, right?
Yeah.
And we all know unbelievable non-legendary humans that have come up and legendary humans. And to me, impact is about significance. And so building a legendary life is a life where you prioritize what matters the most. It is living a life with purpose. It is living a life of freedom, being in charge of your time, being proactive and not reactive. It's about, to me, the secret to successful and happy life is mastering your mindset. Literally mastering your mindsets, being in control of your emotion, living the good life, and God willing, making an impact in a human or an organization, a person, something bigger than you. It's a life of service. It's a life of love. It's a life of leading with love and receiving love. But ultimately, for me, a legendary life is leaving the human beings. And there's some tactical stuff here, and business is important. Money is important.
Sure,
it's hard to make an impact without money. And you and I both business and money guys. But to me, to make that impact in the modern world, you also have to make money. But at the end of the day, it's a legendary life to me is having no regrets, living a life of gratitude with no regrets, and leaving it all on the table. And God willing, making a human being, an organization, or ultimately, God willing, this planet better than you found it.
I totally agree. I think that when you start working with business owners or even our own professional advisor community, we tend to struggle.
Oh,
I don't know, it's probably 3 or 4 years ago now. We used to have an old element of our exit planning summit was our power sessions. Our power sessions are almost like little mini TED Talks.
Yeah.
And our team, after we had pivoted our company and came out with new core values and a different kind of culture and a way of thinking, my team had asked me to talk about how I found my purpose during that time, and how that has influenced folks at our company and frankly the direction of our company. What I found in my research, and I don't remember what institute it came from, but it said something along the lines of 72% of Americans walk through their entire life with no sense of meaning and purpose. And I think people kind of like say, I don't know if that's true, because it's not. I think they think by saying that people are living bad lives, but that's not true. People are living good lives, but they lack something deeper. So, and I think it's relevant to your keynote and relevant to your book topic, because I do feel people walk through life now like with no sense of meaning or purpose. And so, like, why do you think people don't find that legendary life that you talk about in your book?
I think there's a lot of reasons. First of all, when we're children, we're always dreaming, right?
Yeah.
And I think over our lives and the demands of our lives and the pains of our lives, and we lose the ability to dream. We don't think we're either worthy or deserve or have earned. Why am I here? What does this all mean? I think we lose the ability to want.
Interesting.
And I think we're inundated right now and careful about going down this rabbit hole with negative. You can't have negativity go in your ears, eyes, and ultimately who you are. And it's surrounded, whether it's social media, 24-hour news. It just seems to be negative, and it really does something to us. And if we can shut it all off and remember our dreams and our wants. Now, no one's going to come give it to you. And I think you got to go earn it. And so many, there is no magic pill. There's no quick fix that, success is out there or money. He's lucky. No. They went and earned their luck, man.
Yeah.
So to me, it's about wanting to want. It's about remembering to dream again. It's and the whole cliche is you've got to go out and earn it. You got to go do it, and you got to go participate in your own rescue, man. And so I think there's a fear-based. I think there's we all live with this internal sense of, am I good enough? Am I worthy? And that was taught to you, man. And you can unwire that. I mean, you can unwire and rewire your operating system. Anything that was taught to you, whether you believe you're not worthy of it, you can't do it, you don't have the ability, you can do it, you just can't do it yet.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's about not only you got a dream, you got a vision of what your life you want to be, but ultimately that's your intention, that's your goal, that's your dream. This is what I want to do, and this is the life I want to live. But then you got to go take it. You got to take action and go take it. And they're like, my dream's too big. No, it's not. You got to start with that baby step. And you've had these massive leaps in your life. When you learn to walk, massive leap. When you learn to drive, massive leap. When you got your first job, massive leap. Why can't you take a massive leap towards your dreams, towards your desires, towards your want? And it's not out there, man. It's in here. So to me, I think it's fear. I think it's society. I think we get caught up in the day-to-day. Then we get caught up in our responsibilities and the pressures and the demands. And all of us have that, man. All of us have.
Yeah. Well, I think what I'm sensing too is like there has to be a sense of being very intentional and deliberate.
100%.
And that's also why I like your stuff, because for our certified exit planning advisors, what we're teaching them to do and then their owners to go do is they have a really successful company. We talked about this early today, right? Yeah. And they're typically business owners, especially founder owners, are really good at their craft, right? They can make that widget, they can deliver that service, right? And they fast forward 20, 40 years, they have this really great company that's highly successful, makes good money, they have great customers, they have great relationships, they were able to go out and get that boat and that car and that second home. But then they have to go to transition their company, right? Because at some time we have to harvest that value, or at some point we transition the company to our employees or our sons and daughters. And we're kind of slapped in the face for the first time because somebody's called our baby ugly, right? They go, what do you mean I'm not valuable? Like I make all this money and I do this and that. And what the buyer goes, or sometimes even their son and daughter goes, I don't want to inherit all your problems. And I need something that I can replicate without you here. I can scale, and that's decentralized away from you. And I tell that story to go back to the intentionality of what you're talking about, where to have a significant company, whether it's from a business, personal, or financial side, one has to develop a discipline, if you will, of living a more intentional and deliberate life as a business person, and I think life as a person. So my question to you would be is every person that has these profound moments that influence them to write books and go do this stuff has their own story. Yeah. I don't think you were just like came out of the womb and you started living legendary.
Still are working toward it.
Right. I actually think in reading your book, and our audience will be able to read it as well, what I also like about you is that it's an ever-evolving process. Yeah. You've never arrived. And I think if you're looking to really master something, that's the mentality. But if you will, kind of take me through your journey. Like, how did you find this? What inspired you to write the book, and what inspired this? I need to live more on purpose and more intentionally.
So pain is the short answer. So pain. I'll start in the middle and then go back. Okay. The middle, and to me, again, business success, making an impact in business, employing people, and creating something bigger than you that this world values is very important. So I am an entrepreneur. I own 2 companies. And so it is what lights me up, and business fuels me. And it is a part of who and what I do, but it's not who I am. And so at 36, man, I had the corner office. I was a partner in a major public accounting and financial consulting firm in the Southeast United States. But on the outside, he said, man, this guy's got it all going on. He's got the money. He's got all the fancy things we just talked about. And I enjoy all those things, by the way. I do.
Yeah.
But inside, I was dying. I felt alone. I felt, why am I angry all the time? Why do I feel alone? why do I never feel good enough? And no matter how successful or how much more money or title or prestige I ever got, I felt empty inside. And when the success, the power, and the status didn't fulfill me, and I turned to the darkness. And at 36, it almost cost me everything. And I found myself laying in a ditch in downtown Atlanta. I'd probably done some sort of multi-million-dollar M&A deal the day of, and I thought at that moment, this was my second chance in life, and I'll talk about the first chance. I thought, I don't know if I'm going to get a third chance. And I don't like who I am. I don't like where I'm going, and I don't want to feel this way anymore. And so at that moment, and my whole goal is not for people to hit that proverbial rock bottom or pain moment.
Yeah, no.
Let's set some intentions and dreams now and go get it before, because otherwise the consequences can be devastating. But as a young man, I grew up in and around a lot of violence, a lot of abuse inside and out of the home. And, at 18 years old, I was the first person in my family to be looking at multiple scholarship offers to major universities, full rides. And unfortunately, at 18, I became what I hated. I became that violence and abuse, and committed a violent crime and was looking at 7 years in prison. And luckily, it was dropped down to two major misdemeanors. I was sentenced to 2 years. I did spend my 19th birthday incarcerated. And so when I met this African-American gentleman in there, and then I'm going to bring it all around, brother.
Okay.
I'm going to bring it all back.
I'm with you.
I'm going to bring it all
People
around.
in the studio here are probably like, all right, Scott and Tommy are going to figure this out at some point, right? Or they're just going to riff all day.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But, I met this African-American gentleman there, which is unusual because he crossed racial lines in South Atlanta. And he saw something in me. He mentored me. He's like, Youngblood. He called me Youngblood. He didn't call me Tommy. He goes, you're going to be something. You're not going to become part of this revolving door system. And with his accountability, with his love, and it was the first or second true male mentor I had in my life. And he goes, you go make something yourself. So when I got out, I picked myself up. I went to work for a nuclear waste container factory, making nuclear waste containers as a machine operator. Community college at night, ended up at the University of Georgia, got an accounting degree, and then thought, man, if I just kick it and just succeed. And I was just so focused on success and being successful in the firm. And that is important. It's super important. But I never dealt with my stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
My insecurities, my fears, my the story I was telling myself in my head.
Yeah.
And that's why at 36, when I had found all the success, when I'd gotten to the top, when I had competed and won, and I still felt alone, still felt angry, and truthfully still felt scared, I just outsourced my happiness and joy and self-esteem into other things, and it almost cost me everything. And it was at that moment I was like, there's got to be a better way, man.
Yeah.
There's got to be a more intentional, more integrity, more focused way of living life. And at that moment, if you'd have told me to stand on my head, light a candle and sing Kumbaya, man, and it'll help, I would have done it. So I just don't want people to hit that rock bottom modem. But as I started prioritizing the number one asset, which is me, and focusing on my mental, emotional, and spiritual strength, doing the reps, because I was very good at what I did, but I was very poor at who I was. And when I concentrated on making, and I'll give you the tangible benefits, concentrating on being world-class at who I was, I never planned on leaving the financial world. Tangibly, my network doubled, my income 10x'd. I went from junior partner, senior partner, international practice leader, owner, elected to the board of directors at 39, just by being me, not being the pretend version of me, just by me being me. And so all these tangible benefits started happening, but the intangible benefits, a sense of freedom, a sense of humble confidence and courage, and knowing I can do this, I've got this. And that's when, this is how it all comes full circle. That's when my network of entrepreneurs and private equity and venture capital and lawyers and all the things, they reached out like, hey, man, you're still successful at what you do, but something has changed in who you are. And I just started telling them my story. And they're like, oh, man, that's me. That's the way that's me inside. And so we wrote a book that is tactical, that you can do. It's fun. It's executable to not only help you be elite at what you do, but help you to believe at who you are. That's how I got here. And, I have to do the reps every day, man. We've got somebody in studio that will tell you, I do the reps every day to work on that heart muscle, that mind muscle, that soul muscle, my physical muscles. I'm bringing those back. I had an injury recently. Got to work on it. I'm coming back, baby. I'm coming back. But, for me, we forget to prioritize the number one asset, which is us.
Right.
And we prioritize all of this external stuff. But if this asset is bad, the stool you're talking about, the three-legged stool, the whole stool is going to collapse. So that's my story in 5 minutes or less.
A lot to unpack there, right? That's really, I think, relatable to what we're talking about as well. When you mentioned something earlier as you were telling that story that you were also a passionate business owner yourself.
I love it.
And I think this is when it really relates to personal planning side, is that many owners have a deep identity in being that business owner and having that craft, or even in your scenario, before owning, being that partner in charge, right? Having that big corner office, there was a huge part of your identity. So for me, when I think about that, and we were talking a little bit about this as we were working on the keynote this afternoon, is there's a part of us that has to find like a bigger purpose, right? It's not just the corner office executive or the person making that widget. There's really a whole much more to us. And so what is your take on like finding personal purpose and having that be a big driver of who you are? And when did you kind of come into that too?
So I think purpose, here's what I love about purpose. It sounds so big. And I think so many people want to get it right. This is soul work, man.
It is.
This is significance and impact. And this is where you find fulfillment. When you look up at the sky and ask why you're here, I like looking at fires. I call fires God's TV, man. And so, you look at the fire and you're like, what does this all mean? Why is it? Well, it's because purpose. And purpose is where we serve. And you can serve through business. You can serve through nonprofits. You can serve. There's so many ways to serve. And what I love about purpose is there is no right and wrong. There is no pass fail. It's soul work, man. Mm-hmm. And there's and this is not my work. This is ancient stuff. There's an intersection of purpose. And what I love about it is it changes depending on the season of your life. But if you're always living a life of purpose, and I'll give you a simple formula for it in just a second, but if you live a life of purpose, you're always going to feel significant. You're always going to feel a sense of impact and something greater than you. And let me tell you, when the Tommy go round kicks in, and I start, getting in my own head or like, boo is me, or, I'm in a negative Nelly space, man, if I can make it about the work and make it about making impact and make it about serving, I just get out of my own way. And that's what helps. And so every single human being, while they're on this earth, has purpose. And it changes during the season of your life. And until your last breath, you have purpose. And for me, this is not mine. This is ancient wisdom. Your purpose is the intersection of three places. Number one, you got to be really good at doing whatever it is. And some people are like, well, I'm not good at anything. Well, no, that's not true. Ask your three closest friends. They'll tell you what you're good at. But the second piece is you got to enjoy it. You're not going to do things you don't enjoy, man. Period.
No.
You're just not going to do it.
No.
You're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And so I was really good at financial engineering. The reason I retired and moved on is because I didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't love it anymore. And so you got to be good at it. You got to love it. And then the third piece of the stool is it's got to make some sort of impact on a human being, or an organization, a community, a place, or maybe even a macro level. And you don't have to go out and solve cancer. You just take your talents and something that you enjoy doing and go be of service to yourself and other people. And that's, I'm telling you, that's why you're here. You're here to serve. You're here to leave this place better. And when you do that, that is your legacy. That is your significance. And that's where building toward a legendary life comes.
Yeah. When I was in finding purpose and more in deeper meaning, I looked at like a huge sheet of words, right? Like literally there was like 4 columns of just words and phrases. And the question was start to highlight the words and phrases that ring your joy bell. So it's a similar thing, right? Like, what do you love doing? Where are you best at? Where are you the happiest at?
Yeah.
That typically helps you lead down purpose. So a lot of this is around, what you'll get at the summit, right? Is folks that are both visionary in a sense and then technical in a sense. That I think for the most part, our certified exit planning advisors come from 3 or 4 walks of life, right? They're financial advisors, so they're on the investment management side of things.
Yep.
They're business consultants, kind of like my dad was, right? He's going in, he's going to dissect a business, make it more profitable, make it more valuable, and make you exit ready. You're going to be an M&A advisor that's going to help execute and harvest value. You might be an attorney, right? Or attorney on the legal side, or a CPA on the tax and accounting side. And where I think we stumble as an exit planning community is like, what's this personal planning stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think what you'll see at the summit is So what are the tactical ways that I can get started down this personal planning side? And you're kind of alluding to it. That's kind of, I want to kind of go there. For me, it was as simple when we talk about at least finding purpose. It was a simple exercise that I think many of our SEPAs could offer, which is here's a sheet of 1,000 words. Just the first take at it. Highlight as many words that you feel describe you or that you're interested in, and then just start peeling the layer of the onion back. And I feel that even as I say that, people are smiling as they watch or listen to our podcast, and they go, Scott, is it really that easy? And I said, yes. It's as easy as taking a business readiness assessment where you're going to evaluate on a 1 to 6 scale how ready your business is for transition. You're going to ask, like, do you have a written strategy? Mark yes or no. And it's that simple, right? So what are some tools, I guess is my question, is what are some tools that you begin to recommend that allow people to start to peel that layer of the onion back and say, okay, Tommy, I get it, right? We're going to talk about purpose. We're going to start working. We're going to start living more legendary. But how? What are some first steps?
So first of all, you've got to, here's what we say. Number one is to live a legendary life, you've got to be self-aware. That's not easy.
No,
I think the number one failure in leadership in life is to become self-aware.
Yeah.
So I would look in the mirror and take an honest look in the mirror. And are you as successful as you want to be? Are you as happy as you want to be? Are you as free as you want to be? Are you in the relationships you want to be in? Like do an audit. Audit your life, man.
It's like a health check.
Yeah, like look in the mirror, man, and know that is the problem and the solution to everything in your life. And there is, again, you got to look in the mirror, and that is the problem and the solution. And what do you want your life to look like, right? Mm-hmm. And so number one, set a vision for yourself. Number two, so become self. So what we like to do in Legendary in some of the beginning stages, we're all about business success, and we're a community to help people get more successful in business, mostly entrepreneurs and business leaders. But you can't be successful out there and not successful in here. So we take people from ignorance to awareness,
right?
And then we give them the tools to transform,
right?
Get stronger here, get more courage, more clarity, more freedom, more focus on who you are, where you're going, who's coming with you. So number one, do a self-audit. Number two, take some courage and ask for help, because people want to help you. It's the most, people think, well, I'm going to be weak if I ask for help. Well, I'm this successful business owner. I don't need any help. Yeah, you do, brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Wouldn't you want to be more successful, more fulfilled, more happy, and make more impact? And then, by the way, you can make more money doing that. So number one, look in the mirror, become self-aware. Number two, set the vision, the direction, and write it down. This is how I want to feel. This is how I want to live. This is the relationships I want. This is the friendships I want. This is the money I want to make. This is the house I want to live in. Like, get crystal clear on where you're going. Number two, get crystal clear on who you are, your core values. Write them down. What do you stand for? What would you fight for? Where do you plant your flag on who you want to be? And you want to know the easiest way to self-confidence? Here's a tool, is do what you say you're going to do. And if you don't do that's the number one too. Just, okay, I'm going to do this. Now go do it. That'll help you be self-confident. Start small. Okay, today I'm going to make my bed. And I'm going to go make my bed. I've done something today. I've accomplished something. I have honored my commitment to myself, and they get bigger and bigger and bigger. So come up with who you are. Like, write down your non-negotiables, where you plant your flag, your principles, and follow them and do your best to live up to them. And then we just talked about purpose. So now you've got your vision of who you want to be. You know who you are. And by the way, we do a whole retreat on this, by the way. So come join us and we'll help you do it. And then you got to know who's coming with you. But then now we got to work on the self-confidence, the mindset, and there's a billion tools there that we can do. And you got to do what works for you. And I'll just go through the tools real quickly. So there's visualization, there's meditation, there's affirmations, there's intentions, there's journaling, there's a billion different, and what it does is it rewires your operating system. You are what you believe. So we got to rewire those belief systems. We got to rewire that negative voice. We got to give you, but confidence is about reps. You're probably confident in what you do because you do so many reps. Now we need to be confident in who you are. And to me, for under 30 minutes or under 60 minutes, and if you want to be world class, under 90 minutes, if you work on your mind, body, heart, and soul, there's readings, there's all these practices that you can do, but you got to apply this knowledge. And all of a sudden you start standing taller. You start looking different. You vibrate. There's an energy flow that you attract, but people put that last. And for us, you have to protect and defend your number one asset, which is you. Because, your business is important. Yes. My business is important. Yes. But what if it was taken away from you? What if your family was taken away from you?
Right.
What if your health was taken away from you? And so to me, when those things, it's not if they're going to be taken away from you, it's when. That's life. We're all going to become worm food, brother.
Yeah.
And so that's just the way it is, man.
Yeah.
We don't know when it is. So anyway, we've got to get as strong as we can externally and internally so that when the fires come, and they're coming, man, that we stand there and walk into the fire and we stand there with confidence and courage, and we're not taught how to do that. And so we've got to protect and defend that asset. And finally, man, and I don't want to go down this rabbit hole too much, is you have to protect your time, energy, and attention, because under yourself, your time, energy, and attention are the most valuable assets. When you give your energy and attention to something, you're literally giving your life up for it. So what are you giving are you on your phone 4 hours a night? Because you're giving your life up for that. You're giving your energy and attention up for that. And are you serving your technology, or is your technology serving you? I'm off my kick now, but there's 1,000 different ways, and Legendary is chock full of them. 1,000 other books are but you got to apply what works for you, but you got to enjoy it too.
But what you're saying too is, to tie it back to the value acceleration methodology, what I'm hearing you say is that you have to intentionally and deliberately work on it, right?
Every day.
And so this is where I think the aha moment for many business owners is what I always say is there's two concurrent paths that we live as business owners. We have a business path, right?
Yeah.
And that's the business improvements. That's the working on your business and not just in your business. And I think for many business owners like us, our advisors, we're used to hearing that, right? Like, Tom, you got to get out of your business. You got to decentralize yourself.
Yep.
You got to work on the highest and best use. Same thing for me. Yep. But what business owners don't hear enough, or maybe at all, and maybe because it's kind of silly to say, but true, you have to stop just living in your life and work on your life.
Yeah.
They're talking about making it a part of that daily jive. And so when we look at it, the way we start is creating that 10-year vision, moving back into a 3-year life strategy, a 1-year plan, and a 90-day sprint. So we're actually working on what you're talking about every single day. And if you're hearing Tommy talk about this stuff, it does have deep impacts, and you won't figure it out right away. So it then goes back to, in order to have a successful, significant, and fulfilling exit, it takes 3 to 5 years to do this stuff.
Easily.
So if you're the 71-year-old business owner that's saying, look, I just passed 70, I probably want to take some chips off the table, know that figuring out what empowers you and drives you in the next phases or acts of your life is probably going to take you 3 to 5 years if you've done no self-reflection.
That's right.
And so you bring this stuff into the 98-day increments. Talk to me about this, though. You kind of alluded to it, and it stood out to me both in the book and then I listened to a couple other shows you were on. You talk about putting 90 to 120 minutes a day, I think, dedicated to what you're talking about. So working out might be in there for your health, but you're also talking about best-in-class, world-class owners and people take deliberate and intentional time each day to work on basic, what we would call in the EPI word, personal planning. So now you're taking it way down to a daily, not just a 10-year vision, but now it's worked on every single day. Can you talk about that a little bit?
I have to work on my mind, heart, soul, and body every day. So there's always something business-wise and life-wise that I'm working on. Let's say I'm working on being a better leader, or our systems or our marketing or our sales, whatever I'm lacking in business, I am always learning on that, and chances are I have a coach on it.
Okay.
To hold me accountable.
Interesting, yeah.
Right. So I've got to work on my mind every day. I have to grow and learn every day. But I'm not about just knowledge. I'm about applied knowledge. That's why I always have a coach or someone holding me accountable. I'm literally flying out to Arizona to work with my coach all weekend because there's some holes in my business right now that I don't like. So I'm always growing my mind. So I read or listen to something that's going to improve me as a man. And let's say my relationship with my wife is in the tank, and our relationships go up and down, man.
Sure,
they just do. That's just human beings.
Yep.
Well, I need to lean into that. And so I'm either reading, learning, working with a marriage therapist, whatever it might be, I am working on me every day. That's the mind part. So there's always a mind component. I I just absorb content and then I go apply it and also teach it, right? Because I teach success. I'm in the success mentor space, man. And so then there's the heart and soul work, right? And that means something different. But I want to be emotionally strong. I want to be proactive and not reactive. So every day after I work out, and I enjoy this, I get in my sauna and I meditate for 15 to 20 minutes. There's somebody in this room, by the way, that can say, oh, he actually does this. So I get in there. For me, meditation helps me think. It helps me get crystal clear. It helps me be more proactive and not reactive. But it also, some of my most creative work gets in there. I also, believe it or not, every single day, I've got this 30-minute visualization I listen to. Yeah. And let me tell you the categories in it. It's A, my goals, B, my health, my marriage, my spirituality, and my business. But it's also me telling me where I'm going. It's like my vision, dreams, intentions of where I want to go. And then the last 15 minutes is how I'm going to get there. Mm-hmm. So I'm constantly rewiring my brain with this visualization that I do, and I change it quarterly.
Just quick pause point, like, that's no different than business planning.
That's right.
Like, you would do that, and most business owners listening to the show right now are like, yeah, I did that with my marketing strategy, my sales strategy, my product development strategy, my P&L, right, my forecast. But now apply those same tactics. Like, listen to Tommy and what he's talking about right now. He's applying that same tactics that we would do in business, but he's looking at it through a lens of personal planning. Again, one of the biggest questions we have to keep coming home to is how, and then how's it applied and lived. By the way, the sauna story, you're going to laugh at this one. I bought a house like in the fall time, and I have this room in my house that I call the dojo. Now I thought it would just be funny one day, but my kids for Christmas got me a dojo sign, and I have a sauna in there, and I do the same thing. It's funny, but it does give you that your life is, I think, as a business owner, as a high performing professional advisor, tends to be kind of chaotic sometimes, but it's like that's like the one time a day that I actually get to slow down, to speed up, and do, and what you were talking about, go through these 3 or 4 things and start to investigate. But I'm certainly
the tools.
Yeah, there is. I had to pause you there because, again, it just goes back to, and what I'm trying to drive home for our audience is, this is the how, and this is the missing part, I think, of personal planning in our community. And why owners aren't necessarily grasping it as much as we'd like them yet is because we're struggling for the how. Yeah. And you're telling it right now.
Yeah. The tools, I'm going to do a 5 or 10 year, we're past 5 years of Legendary. I'm going to rewrite it and put more in there. Yeah. Even more tactics, things that I've applied and learning and are doing over and over. Real quickly on the sauna, the best purchase I've ever made, I think, in my life.
The sauna?
Yeah. So as a business owner, I would say this. As a business owner or an executive or a human being, man, this sounds woo-woo, man, but the results, the acceleration of success, both financially and personally, this is how you do it. It's the reps. And what I would say, if I went to your business owners or your CPAs, like, what is your number one asset right now? And if they didn't say them, they're wrong. Because if you're not here, what is there, right? And so why would you not invest? You'll invest in the stock market. You'll invest in your friends. You definitely invest in your career and business. Why would you not invest in yourself?
Exactly.
Why would you not take time every day to hone your most precious asset? I'll put it to you this way. If you had $1 million horse in a stable, how would you treat that horse? Like, what would you do with that? You'd feed it perfectly. You'd probably have somebody massage it. You'd run it, right? You'd run it. You would pet it every day. Every day you would take care of that $1 million horse. You are that $1 million horse, man. And if you suck, your business, your leadership, your life, your relationships, and why would you not hone in that asset? Hone in that mind, that heart, that spirit, that body, so that you can go be even more elite, make even more money. And it's counterintuitive, right? We put ourselves last. We say these things are important, and then we get to the end. And what I don't want, literally, I am in the success. I have built a community of entrepreneurs and business leaders who push each other to accelerate their success in their business, who hope to minimize failures. But man, and I see it time and time again, is we're elite over here and we stink over here. And so, but it starts with ourselves, and it's not selfish, it's selfless. Because when you hone in that asset, when you hone in your $1 million racehorse, which is you, and if you don't believe that, come see me in a retreat, and I'll rewire it. Exactly. I'll rewire it in 5 days, man. You'll leave there thinking you're the $1 million horse. maybe even a $10 million horse, right? Because those exist. So you got to protect and defend that asset. Be selfless about it. Be habitual about it. Be disciplined about it. And that confidence, that courage, the fun, the joy, the laughter. And man, when life just kicks you and kicks you and kicks you, and you're just standing there literally like Zeus, ready to take it, man. And we just don't do that. And I can't figure out why.
Yeah, I can't. I think for the business owner, well, I think it's generational, right? We can go down a whole rabbit hole of this. But I do think as you start to see younger generations, and I think this is what we're preparing for, it's a message that I want to deliver at our summit too, is that if we could really help the baby boomer business owner, 57% of them want to exit in the next 5 years. If we can really help them be successful, fulfilled, significant, we will show the next generations after them how to live a more legendary life. Yeah. And for us at EPI, we would say how to live a more significant life, how to drive value into our company and align business, personal, and financial goals so that when we do transition our company and move into the next business or the next phases of life, we're standing like Zeus. And right. We feel confident and clear and very connected into what we're doing. So I do think as we tend to focus on the boomers, we actually might have an easier road ahead of us as professional advisors because people in Gen X and Gen Z, millennials, they actually more naturally are inclined to lean into purpose. They seek it in the workplace. They want companies that have core values. And so I think that your teachings, right, your stuff in Legendary actually hits home. And maybe that's why for me as a 40-year-old entrepreneur, I was like, this is the kind of framework I'm looking for because I'm naturally seeking personal purpose. And so I just think it might be a little generational, but no doubt I think, again, going back to intentionality and more deliberate living kind of hits home.
If I was an advisor, because they're probably extremely good at what they do. Yeah. I mean, I was in that world for a long time. I am them. Yeah. I literally am them.
Yeah.
But if I wanted to be elite and I wanted to be the best in class at what I do, and to me, because you're elite at what you do, probably the 5 people to your right and left are as well.
Exactly.
So how the hell are you going to separate yourself apart? Number one is I would lean into leadership and EQ. Mm-hmm. Like truly valuing your customer, being able to listen to them, being able to lead them, being self-aware. I would lean into EQ, number 1. I would lead into leadership, number 2. And I would be the best leader and the best EQ because you're going to be technically sound, but so is the 5 and 6 people around you, right? Yep. And you're competing against them. I want to win. I don't know about you. I want to win. And so for me, it's about EQ and leadership. And then what if you could help them be elite in their life? What if you shared your personal mission statement with them and helped them craft theirs? Yeah. Exactly. What if you shared your purpose during this season of life with them and had them help them do theirs? What if you shared them your journey of your failures, your triumphs, your tragedies, and what you've overcome and be a human being so that they can share theirs? That's a relationship. That's value. That's separating yourself. So if you were a world-class leader, you're confident, not arrogant. Arrogant is insecurity on steroids. But what if you're confident? What if you're humble? What if you have a vision, mission, purpose, and you share it with them? And you hope that theirs is higher than yours and yours fits under theirs. Now you got a friend for life, a value relationship for life, and you've made a difference because you've shared yours and you've given them permission to go and do that. Now you're building the financial house. You're building them to scale, right?
Yeah.
You're leveraging content and systems and processes and capital and humans. You're preparing them to scale and sell, right? And hopefully a high multiple, make a lot of money. But what if you help them do that? What if you prepare them to build that house, but you're preparing them to have the other personal house as well? And you're helping them in their most important relationships. And man, I'm telling you, you're going to win.
Well, that's the most
winners win,
trusted
man.
advisor.
That is an advisor.
That's what I'm saying. It's trusted. It's valued. And it's my dad teaches this at the SEPA program. The best case study could be yourself.
Yeah.
So whether it's the business planning, the personal financial planning, or the personal planning, we as certified exit planning advisors need to be living in the way that we were taught and trained in ourselves. And so I totally agree. Now imagine as you start to introduce, say you are the financial advisor, or say you are the investment banker or the business consultant, and you don't do the personal planning side, but you have done some self-reflection and working on your own personal plan, how much that would affect a business owner as you're sitting alongside them and say, yeah, this is the kind of stuff I'm working on.
Yeah.
And this is this kind of stuff that, you should consider. And then I'm a part of the Exit Planning Institute community, and we have performance coaches and personal planners that can come alongside you, like I am from the business side, or like I am from the estate planning side, and work alongside you on that.
You said the word trust and value.
Trust and value.
And let me tell you, someone that you trust and value, you can name your price, man.
Exactly right.
Not only that,
they will be with you as an advisor, because I think most business owners, regardless of what generation, they're going to have their hand in some business as they move through their life.
Always.
And
builders build, man.
Exactly.
Builders build.
Right? So having that most trusted value advisor with you, I think is key.
They're not going to put themselves up on the shelf. And by the way, purpose is not golf, beach, houses. That's activities and things. And those activities and things are important because you got to enjoy it. You got to have some fun. You got to compete. But builders build. And most likely entrepreneurs are going to do something else and build something else because they're going to get bored.
Yeah, of course.
They just are. So you're going to help them build that next thing. And what if you can help their previous generations build their next thing? And so to me, that's about value, and you can name your price. And so to me, and this is old data, and I can't remember where I got this data, and this is old, but less than 10 years ago, like a purpose-driven company is 30% more profitable.
100%.
What if you're a purpose-driven advisor?
Exactly right.
And you're going to attract those people to you. But man, let me tell you, most people can sense a BS meter. You can't say it, not walk it.
Yeah, exactly right.
And again, going back to confidence at the very beginning, the easiest way to be confident is do what you say you're going to do.
Absolutely right.
It's simple, not easy.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
So,
too woo-woo, brother, or are we getting tactical?
No, we're good. We're good. I wanted to introduce the book a little bit and ask you some of the key actions or takeaways you want us to have.
Yeah.
Our audience at the Exit Planning Summit will all receive a copy of Legendary.
1,200 of them are on the way.
1,200 of them are on our way. I would say that what I think is really cool about you and what I really appreciate you doing, and what I think our community of advisors and the attendees at the summit will appreciate as well, is your willingness to invest in the community. And so I know, right? and I think Tommy and his team will be with us at the summit all throughout. He's speaking at our VIP social.
Yep.
He's spending some time at our author showcase and part of our summit exploration time. And then he'll close out our summit as our closing keynote. So you'll have some time to get your book signed, read the book, page through it, hear him speak, and be able to interact and have some Q&A with him as well. But between the book and your keynote, what are some of the key takeaways you want us to have? And note that as well, he's been spending all day here at EPI HQ helping. We're crafting, I think, a special keynote for all of you.
Yeah, completely crafted. And why I think that book did well and became a Wall Street Journal and USA, because it's tactical.
Yeah.
And I've lived it.
Yes.
And I do it. And I do it every day. Because if I don't build the muscle every day, the muscle atrophies, right? And I got to be as confident and as honed in as I can and clear as I can to go be world-class and badass. Takeaways is, number one, you're going to know that I am one of you. I literally am one of you. This is not what it looks like to have it all figured out. I still have to walk this walk every day and put on my big boy pants, but you will leave there with tactical tool. You're going to have the one big aha at the end. And you're like, I can do that.
Exactly.
And it's up to you, though, when you walk out that door, to go do that one simple thing that will make a massive impact, a massive ROI into your business success, your life success, and God willing, I'm going to give you that one big aha. I'm not going to tell you what it is now, because then you got to come to the summit, man. You got to stay to the end too, because I'm at the very end. And so you're going to take away with that aha in the journey that we're going to take together. Hopefully, you will be entertained, you will be inspired, we will be relatable to each other. But I promise you, if you apply some of the knowledge, you'll be able to go deeper with people, build a world-class network, master your mindset, and get some confidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And God willing, make more money and have more fun in the process. But we need to get granular. We're going to give you the data. We're going to give you the process to get there. We're going to help you build some strategy. We're going to help you build deeper, more connected relationships. We're going to have some fun doing it. And we're going to leave with one big takeaway, like, that Breedlove fella, I can do that. And trust me, if I can do it, you can do it, man. I'm from the south side of Atlanta. Trust me. Trust me, you can do it. But so there's going to be one major aha takeaway. Our beginning keynote, I don't want to steal his thunder. He's going to help you with that culture. He's going to hone it in, man. And he's as good as they come. And so super excited about that. But now we're going to hone in on helping you be elite. Just you want to sharpen that pencil to be elite, not only what you do, but who you are. God willing, have some fun doing it.
Well, Tommy, it's been awesome. I appreciate you coming into Cleveland and spending the day with our team here at EPI and then coming on the show. And so I really appreciate it. And we'll see you in Nashville just in a few weeks.
That'll be fun, brother.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to our special edition summit show here on the Exit Is Now podcast. I hope you're motivated and you're ready to come to the largest exit planning centric event in the world, the Exit Planning Summit. A big thank you to my team at EPI and our outsourced team at Agio who help us promote and put on this summit. And a massive thank you to all of our partners, sponsors, our speakers, our guests, our VIPs, and everybody in between that allow us to put on such a great event. I really look forward to seeing you all in Nashville. Our next show on the Exit Is Now podcast will debut on April 29th. On April 29th, we'll continue our Exit Is Now Summit series with some live podcasting that we'll do directly at the Exit Planning Summit. Hope to see you there. You can visit us at exitplanningsummit.com if you're interested in attending. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.